Hey, hey. So I've been trying to do this for about 24 hours now. I've been trying to send trying to do this video. Again, this is a pilot uh that I would probably be trying to monetize depending on how it goes. If y'all like the content I'm putting forward, please like, comment, and share. If you don't like it, comment anyway, but be mindful that you are not going to be the only person reading. You're not the only person writing and commenting, so let's try to be respectful of everybody. um and understand I reserve the right to delete any comment that I don't think is appropriate. Okay. uh that being said, the first topic I want to address is, how can I say this? It's going to offend people regardless. Is white privilege. I don't know how many of you all that follow me actually watch the Country Wayne skits. So for me to be a little bit more specific, I'm going to speak on the white privilege as it relates to a character named Bethany, who is played by an actress named Christy Taylor. Okay? Bethany is white. She's married. Well, okay, let me be more specific. Bethany is a full-figured, plus size, some would even say obese, but Christy is in the process of losing weight. I don't know if she's on a diabetic diet, using one of those medications that's causing her weight loss. I don't know. But in the last year, she's lost over 100 pounds. She's looking good. Let me say that. She is looking good. Yes, she's still big, but she is nowhere near as big as she's a whole person smaller. 100 pounds, that's a whole person. Okay. That being said, and y'all forgive me, I keep looking at the camera and it looks like I'm looking that way, but I'm actually looking at the camera. Okay. Um, that being said, the character that Christy plays by the name of Bethany in the Country Wayne skits that are produced by filmmaker Chase Walker. Bethany is a Christy plays Bethany, who is like I said, plus size white woman married to a black man who has a daughter with his ex-wife, who happens to be a black woman, but he has an older son as well, who his son's mother is Native American. Okay. All of this matters. Okay. This sounds multicultural, multiracial, right? You're absolutely right. You got a white woman, you got a black man, you got a black woman, you got a Native American woman, you got a daughter that's full African American, and you got a son that's part African American and part Native American. It's multicultural. Okay. Well, and we want to applaud that they are showing that there are those type of families. However, and there's a huge however, Bethany is not a likable person. In fact, I'd imagine Bethany has people that hate her. And I'm not talking about, how we always talk about my haters, my haters, my haters. I ain't talking about them kind of haters. Bethany's behavior makes you want to fight her. Okay? Let's just be real. Let's call a duck and a spade a spade. Okay? Now, I said the first thing I said I want to talk about is white privilege. Because I want people to understand that just because someone is married to somebody that's of a ethnicity or race that they are not, or have children with somebody with other, does not mean that they are not racist, does not mean that they are not prejudiced against that group of people. That absolutely does not. Factor in that we got this thing with quote unquote the Karens. And y'all know what a Karen is. Well, Bethany is that she has exhibited more often than not characteristics of a person that suffers from narcissistic personality disorder. Now, if you don't know exactly what that is, because there's a lot of people running around here calling people narcissists, that's not. If you don't know what that actually is, please look it up. Look it up. I studied psychology. I studied mental illness, so I can tell you she's exhibiting a person with narcissistic personality disorder, and I'm getting a little tired of waiting on the producers, which would be Country Wayne, Chase Walker, uh, Amber Ty, Natasha Monford, Rolanda, and Mike Bless. I'm getting tired of them in certain storylines that they drag on and on and on, and we keep going around the same circle, and it's not, instead of them going ahead and wrapping it up, you can still see. Some people feel like, well, if they do this, then they won't have a storyline. They absolutely can have a storyline. If they are really creative, you can move it on. I'm an author. I started writing a book, and out of that book that I was writing, I ended up having more to store to make it a serial. So I had to slow down my writing because I don't want I want a book to be, when people start reading, I want it to be a page turner. I don't want people to get bored. So I had to slow down my writing so I can figure out, okay, this I can pull out of here and put in another book. And this can stay because it flows right. And this will flow in another book. I had to do that. So you can absolutely keep a storyline going, but you can absolutely keep have if you let your creative juices flow, you can absolutely keep a story, keep your characters alive by moving the story along and wrapping up a scenario that you're trying to present. Now, white privilege. Bethany bullies everybody. She bullies absolutely everybody she comes in contact with. And when I say everybody, it doesn't matter if you black, white, blue, whatever. If she thinks she can get away with bullying you, you are on her list to be bullied. Okay? She bullies her own brother. She is very disrespectful to her own mother. She manipulates her father, even in her older age, meaning she's playing like a 40 something year old person. You she has she hates her mom. I can't clean it up and say it no other way. She hates her mom. With that being said, she's a property manager of an office building that her family owns. She bullies the tenants in those buildings, especially if they are black. Everybody that is a person of color is trash to her. They ghetto, they ratchet, they this. Well, the latest thing that she did that upset me was, okay, her stepdaughter, her husband's daughter, this black teenager, 17, will be 18 in May. She was spent the weekend with her mother, Valentine's weekend. She has a boyfriend. She let the boyfriend come over to her mom's house while her mom was gone on a date. Again, it's important to know this girl is a 17-year-old senior getting ready to graduate high school, getting ready to go to college. Okay? She is so sheltered. I don't know if y'all grew up with people that were so sheltered they couldn't breathe without their parents right there. Well, she's that person. Her dad had custody. So therefore, when he married Bethany, Bethany is the mother figure in her life because her mother lived in Tennessee. A lot of stuff going on there. The reason her dad had custody, her mom had to stay in Tennessee, and they're in Georgia. But now mom has moved to Georgia. That's beginning to clear up. So that she has moved to Georgia so that she can be near her daughter during her senior year. She can participate in the things that her daughter has going on senior year, graduating high school, last year in high school, getting ready to go off to college. So she invited the boyfriend over to her mom's house. In the comments, If you ever sneaked a boy, if you're a woman, ever sneaked a boy in your mama's house, if you're a guy, if you're a girl, female, ever sneaked a boy in your mama's house or sneaked in a boy's house, mama's house, put one in the comments. If you are a guy who sneaked in somebody's house or sneaked a girl in your mama's house, put a 2 in the comment. Okay? So she sneaked the boy over there. All they did, real talk, was sit upstairs in the loft area on the couch. They wasn't even hugged up. They sat close together, but they wasn't hugged up. And they were watching a movie. That's all they did. Her little cousin was sitting downstairs in the living room where she could look up at any time into the loft to see if she could see their head and make sure they wasn't doing something they didn't have any business doing. Now, granted, her cousin was supposed to be the lookout. Cousin dropped the ball. Mama came in. Long story short, Brooke got caught with the boy in the house. She got in trouble. Her mom went off on her, told the boy she gonna tell his mama. She called her dad, told her dad that, yeah, I came home. She had that boy over here. Okay. After she got home, her dad talked to her about it, and he let her know he was upset, but that he and her mother were going to sit down with her again and talk with her together. That should have been the end of it, right? Oh, no. Stepmother of the year, Bethany, decides to wait. Now, she's standing right there, didn't open her mouth, didn't say anything when Larry was talking to his daughter about what she had done at her mama's house. Let me back up. Before she got home, after her mom called to tell her dad what she had done, when he got off the phone, Bethany immediately blamed the mom and said the mom should have been at home watching her. And the mom, Shara is the mom's name. She's not fit, and Brooke doesn't need to go over there anymore because she should have been. If she would have been at home, they could watch her. They went out for Valentine's Day too, and as she said this as though Brooke couldn't have snuck the boy in their house, and which in fact she did. That same boy would climb through a bedroom window at their house, and they were sitting in the living room. Larry got up to come in there to see if Brooke was all right because they were trying to do something in the living room, and Brooke said she had a migraine. He went in there to see if Brooke was all right. The boy was on the floor on the other side of the bed. All he had to do was walk around, and he caught that boy in his house. He didn't. So, yeah. Bethany comes off as if she's this great person and nothing like this will happen on her watch. And she says to Larry, Brooke's going to get pregnant. And it's going to be Shara's fault. And he said, you act as if she can't get pregnant in this house. And so then now back to when Brooke came home. Bethany didn't say nothing while Larry was talking to her. She waited till later on when Larry was distracted or whatever, and she slipped up in there in Brooke's room. She does this all the time. And she proceeds to talk to Brooke, but what comes out of her mouth is that she's going to get pregnant and make her a grandmother. And Brooke says, you are not a grandmother. And she says, you're going to make me a grandmother again. You wasn't a grandmother the first time. Where did it come from again? Well, Larry's son, who is 26 years old, just became a new dad. He and his girlfriend just welcomed their son into the world about a month ago. That's where that come from. There's going to be a part 2 to this because I'm already at 15 minutes. Anyway, what Bethany says to Brooke when she goes in there, she tells her she's going to get pregnant. And Brooke told her to get out of her room with that, basically. And so she got mad. She left because she don't like to be told when she's wrong. She runs out of there and she goes in her bedroom where Larry is to tell him how disrespectful Brooke was. But what she wasn't counting on was Brooke was on her heels. And Brooke said, no. I knew you was going to do this, come in here and try to play victim. That's why I got up and came in here behind you so I could tell my dad what really happened. So when she starts telling her dad that woman came in there telling her, trying to speak pregnancy over her life. Larry went off on her and told her she will not speak that over his child's life. Now, this is the third time he's had to tell her, stop speaking pregnancy on Brooke. Okay? She believes that she can say what she want to say, when she want to say it, how she want to say it, and she ain't supposed to be checked on it. Like I said, there's going to be a part 2.